I am furious with the CRA again. I logged into CRA today and happened to notice an announcement about a class action settlement involving a Government of Canada privacy breach. I've talked about this before. You've heard me talk about it before. And as an FYI reminder, two of my four parents were affected by this privacy breach. There was a credential stuffing attack. So did CRA email me about the settlement? No, they did not. As a business owner, CRA emails me literally constantly, but apparently notifying Canadians directly about the settlement involving unauthorized access to government accounts and personal information wasn't important enough for an email. So as a result, I missed the opt-out date, and FYI, so did you. The settlement details are on a website that I'm going to link below. So it's like breachsettlementcanada.kpgm.ca. Anyway, the compensation being offered is, in my opinion, completely insulting. It's paltry and it's not enough. If your personal information was accessed, you can claim compensation for up to 4 hours of your time at $20 an hour for a maximum of $80. If your information was used fraudulently, you can claim up to 10 hours at $20 an hour to a maximum of $200. $200 maximum. For dealing with the fraudulent use of your information inside your CRA account, the information that you were legally required as a citizen to provide that they lost. There's a separate fund of up to $5,000 for people who can demonstrate that they have financial losses. And that's worth knowing about. But if you spent hours and hours and hours of dealing with the consequences of identity theft, but you can't prove that you lost money, you just get basically nothing because your time apparently is worth very, very little. So here's the thing about stolen information. The harm isn't necessarily ended when the breach is discovered, right? So my parents aren't aware of having their identities stolen or used for fraud. And that's fantastic. And I hope it stays that way, but we don't know it's going to stay that way because you can't change your identity like you change a password. So personal information can potentially be retained by an abuser or an attacker later. And the fact that nothing terrible has happened yet is great, but that doesn't mean that the breach didn't happen, and it doesn't mean that it can't still cause problems later. I'm super, super unimpressed by the fact that there's no admission of guilt. The Canadian government denies wrongdoing and liability as part of this settlement. And I understand that like settlement legalities work in a certain way, and I understand why defendants want to settle without admitting that it's their fault, but it sucks, and they owe Canada an apology. They owe us an apology, and they owe my parents an apology. When an organization is entrusted with Canadians' personal sensitive data and they have a serious security incident, I would like accountability. I want the affected people to be proactively notified about their rights, and I want meaningful remediation, not a little notice. In my CRA account, I don't want to accidentally discover it while I'm paying late payroll taxes, which is what I was doing today. I It's too late also for me to opt out. That was February, it's August. I'm very upset. So I am posting this to tell you, if you from March 1st to December 31st in 2020 had a CRA My account, which of course you did, a My Service account or some other, anyway, there's a bunch of government accounts affected, go check whether you are eligible for this settlement. If you're entitled to the $80, go and get it. If you're entitled to the $200, go and get it. It's yours. If you suffered financial losses and you can prove it and you qualify for those compensation of up to $5,000, go look into it and go get your money. I would also like to ask you to please tell your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your neighbors, and anyone else who might not have seen this notice hiding in their My CRA account. Because apparently that's how they've decided to tell us, trying to slip it under the radar. And now I need to go call my parents. And yeah, I'm really pissed, in case you can't tell. I'm really upset. I feel they've handled this very poorly. For those of you that don't know, I've been complaining about this for a long time. I talked about how they changed their terms of service when you logged in, and how they're like, we claim no liability if your data is lost. It's not our fault because we have done the best we can to secure your data and the internet's not safe. And I grossly disagree. I feel their security posture for their software is not acceptable from what I see by just looking with the web browser and just looking at the developer tools. I am not impressed. I've written them letters for years about this. I've written letters to the Prime Minister's office. I've been writing blog posts. I've been in the media on CBC, on Risky Business, like all over, trying to raise the alarm bells about this. And here we are, and they're like, here's $200. It's not good enough.